Okay, go ahead.
All right. All right, go ahead and call this meeting to order. Kind of get through this. The first item on the agenda, the approval of minutes from the largest tax meeting of July 28th, 2020. Has everybody had a chance to look through that, and do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I approve the minutes. This is Anna.
There's Anna. Anna approved. Second from Jasper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Aye.
I guess I'll do a roll call from here on out.
Aye.
All right, is Judy around?
She just texted me.
Okay.
Give me a second. My computer is locked you.
Okay.
Locked up, maybe.
Hello.
You want to wait a second or move back here?
And for the public on YouTube, you can state who's all present as well.
Okay.
That's one of the requirements.
Do you want me to go through and just do that again?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for everybody that's viewing from YouTube, probably 4 or 5 maybe people. We've got Becky Brooks, Lori Robertson, Jasmine Estrada, Matt Ingram, Carrie Gladden, Deborah Dowds, Samantha Mendez, Jasper Riddle, Rodney Griego, Kelly Johnson, Anna Dozier. I think that's everyone. Okay, I think that's everyone. And currently in council chambers, you've got Alan Riches and Justin Huffman, myself.
Sorry, we're waiting to see what Judy's status is. I guess we can go on the back here.
Well, while y'all are waiting, I just want to say this. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to shop locally and as contactless as possible, even though I know we're kind of shut down or however this is going to take place. But Justin, I called T-Barrel the other day, and I actually put this on Facebook in a review. And a guy named Thomas answered the phone. I told him I'm a lung patient. I don't really want to cruise in town that much, but I want to shop local. He actually offered to bring a gift certificate to my house or something that I was buying. I said, that's all right. I'm not that much of a weenie. And I went downtown and he offered to meet me outside. But how nice that he did not make me feel bad, because there are some people that don't want to play, you know. I mean, I've been to stores that aren't real nice to me about it, but I just thought that's really special. And I think that the more that stores can do that, the better. We just need to make everybody feel as comfortable as possible.
That's awesome. I'll relay that information. He's a good kid.
Hey, he was so kind, and he really made me feel comfortable, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Good. Well, do you think we should just do Becky?
Yeah, Becky, on the heels of your comments, since we're still waiting for Judy, do you want to go ahead and give your report? We'll just
Sure.
go forward. Okay.
Sure, and Deborah, jump in if I'm missing anything, but probably, as y'all know, Deborah and I are at the chamber. We have been at the chamber for the last quite a few months now, just answering phone calls. Basically, that's been a big thing that we've been doing, is talking to people who want to come here. I'm sure most of y'all know we've been very, very honest and forthright with the situations at hand. We are telling people the truth. We are telling them, you know, that they're not supposed to come here from another state unless they plan to self-isolate for the time frame that the governor has laid out. We have had a lot of kickback from a lot of people. They don't like it that we're telling the truth, but someone's going to call the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to tell them the truth. And the truth is, yes, that we have the health order in place. And we also tell them the truth that, is it being enforced? No, not really. Is it going to be enforced? We don't think so, but we don't know. I don't want people to get here and say, well, it's being enforced. I called the chamber and they didn't tell me any of this. They've spent money to get here. I just think they need to know the truth. We are also telling them that our numbers are spiking, because I think that people need to know the situation before they plan a trip here. So that I believe is our choice to do that, and I think it's the right thing to do. So I hope you guys understand that. we know the holiday season. I don't know how this is going to change because I know houses, the larger houses for Thanksgiving were already booked. We had huge groups. They wanted to come here and celebrate Thanksgiving as a family, and they were looking for places that 20 plus people could stay. A lot of calls for that. So we don't know. I mean, I don't know what I think about how it's going to play out. I have a feeling we're going to still have a lot of people here. Let's see. The same thing is going with Christmas. Hopefully we'll be in better shape Christmas as far as our county goes and be able to be a little more open. We're almost out of masks. We have a very few left. And we've given out almost 8,000 masks to people that wanted them. We had this parade, Festival of Lights parade planned, and it doesn't look positive right now because it's set to happen on the 5th of December. And right now we have people who are not comfortable getting groups together to build the floats even. So, we're still pretty kind of, open, I guess, but we're getting a lot of input, and that is that no, it's probably not going to happen. We would love to make it happen, but we can't make things happen that aren't realistic at this point. And we have to be careful. So, let's see. Deborah, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't think so. We are there, in the office. So if anybody needs visitor guides or whatever, just give us a call because the doors are locked, but we are in the office every day. So not a whole lot to add.
Well, I have something to share. So the chamber has agreed to allow us to utilize the billboard at the Y. So our first responder commercial that we produced, we also took a bunch of photos during that as well, and have some really high quality photos that we're gonna be able to use. So we're gonna be running, for the foreseeable future, we're gonna get that billboard rewrapped at the Y. And just want a huge shout out and thank you to the chamber for allowing us to utilize that and really try to get that message coming into town. Since that's such a huge intersection where a lot of our traffic comes in at. So again, thank you so much, Becky. I know Alden's working on getting the creative together based on the specs, that the 12.5 by 48 feet. And then once those are put together, we're going to go ahead and get out and look and figure out who can get it wrapped for us so we can get that first responder message up there on there. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And that there wasn't contact for who did that one that's up there. That one is 5 years old, according to my emails.
Yep.
Carrie obviously was involved in that with us. And I went by it the other day and looked at it. It does probably need to be replaced anyway. That one's getting old. So it was looking pretty faded. You don't realize things like that till you go actually put an eyeball to it. And
well, I think we'll have a good, strong message for people that are continuing to come into our community even after the quarantine is lifted or the lockdown is lifted again, and as things get back to quote unquote normal. But I think it'll be a good, strong message, and it's a great location for us to hit people as they're coming into our community.
And on that note, Deborah and I do have another meeting that will come up at 9, and it's the New Mexico Chamber Exec Association meeting. We go to that twice a week. Last week on Thursday, we had a lieutenant governor there. And one of the things that did get, I was told by the mayor and chamber director for Angel Fire was that the governor has bragged on Ruidoso and some of the things that we're doing. So those are things I think that are important. If we're hearing through the state that she is bragging on us, that means that she thinks we're doing some things right. And I just want to think we're doing them right too. At least we're trying, because we do get the messages from the hospital. We do get the emails from Todd Overhue, and it doesn't look good over there, guys. So, I think we all just got to do what we got to do. none of us wanted this, but it is.
Awesome.
Y'all have any questions of us?
Doesn't look.
Doesn't look like anybody does.
Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Judy's on.
Now, all right, Judy Starkovich is on, so we will go through the, what am I looking
The budget.
for? The budget report, yeah. Sorry.
So this is the report
Thanks,
from
Brenda.
September, and as you can see, we're down 5% over the same period last year. So considering everything, that's pretty good. As far as expenditures we paid out of lodger's tax, 322,000, and we still have encumbrances open of 549,000. So at the end of September, in the bank was 799,000. So we're still on budget to make. I'm gonna update for October numbers. We're closing out the expense side today, so I should have October numbers. But we're still doing pretty good. I'm not sure what the next few months are gonna bring, but we're still under budget, so we're right on target. Hopefully it'll come back in the spring.
How have those VRBO checks been, Judy?
I don't know, I haven't seen them. I just see the host compliance, but I can look it up.
No, no worries. I was just kind of curious if they were competitive with Airbnb or not.
Are you talking about Avalara?
The home away agreement that we signed where they auto remit the lodger's tax on behalf of the lodgers in the community.
So it's gonna come in as Avalara, Judy.
Oh, okay.
I never heard of that. I do know at the state level, they're really pushing a lot of the communities to get on board with getting these agreements signed. So they've, basically us, Taos and Santa Fe were the ones leading the state and getting these agreements up and running. So congratulations to the village for being on top of that and making sure that was something that we had, because there's a lot of communities now scrambling because they need the money, and the state is really trying to assist with that. Can't believe we're only 5% down. It's okay, Judy. Don't worry about it. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry
All
about it. I'll take a look later. I was just kind of curious for more personal consideration to see what our mixture was. All right, you want to go?
All right, Judy, thank you very much.
All right, see ya.
All right, moving on, Ruidoso Midtown Association. Matt.
Hey, good morning. I have a presentation, if you wouldn't mind if I'll screen share,
Let's do it. We'll make it bigger.
or no?
Yeah.
You want me to throw through it?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know how. Yeah, if he has the permission.
I'm trying to, the host disabled attendees from screen sharing, so might not be able to do that. My bad.
What's that?
So just with the Midtown Association, things have changed kind of in the past week. I think everybody's going to be scrambling down here in Midtown to get compliant. We have been pushing the New Mexico Safe Certified campaign, and it's definitely has a big impact on our businesses down here. So we, as an organization, have kind of taken some approaches to kind of promote a digital workforce. We received $10,000 in New Mexico Oil and Gas Association funding to host a Main Street series. where we'll showcase 12 businesses across the Main Street district. They'll be provided 2-minute videos as well as 4 smaller videos to use on their social media campaigns. We will be releasing the Main Street series on December the 10th for our virtual business mixer that RMA is hosting. Just kind of a way to try to get back to giving some marketing content to our businesses. We have been looking at working with the Village of Ruidoso, Watershed, and Parks and Recreation on a realignment of Rio project. Our application is actually currently in the pipeline for them to be sending out one of their architects to come help with the project. So we're excited to see that. I'm not really sure what the health mandates are going to do in restricting travel over the next couple of weeks, but we're kind of excited to get that. Another thing that our organization has started to work on is a wayfinding project, and both creating ultimately signage both within the district and to the district, as well as some sort of business directory within inside of the district. So we're still just trying to stay busy. We've got a lot of things going on. Our funding sources have gotten cut dramatically with no special events. We have been successful at a couple of grants here, but we're going to just still try to stay just kind of lean and scrappy over the course of probably the next quarter here until we can kind of get back. We do have a fundraising project going in the works right now. It is our Midtown Tile fundraiser project. So if any of you would like to commemorate your pet's birthday, a loved one, a wedding date on the Midtown bathrooms, go to ruidosomainstreet.com where you can get a tile to commemorate a piece of you in the historic town of Midtown Ruidoso. That's all I really have. I'll stand for any questions.
I missed what you said, Matt, real quick. When is your business get together thing?
Well, virtually we'll be meeting up, I believe I said December 10th. That's a Thursday. And we haven't released it quite yet, but we're going to do either an ugly sweater themed virtual mixer, or Jasmine and I were talking about an ugly face mask themed virtual business mixer. So just kind of a way for us to get together. We want to release what we're doing and do it collectively. So that'll be I'll put it out on Facebook and make sure I invite all of you guys.
I like the ugly mask idea. We were looking at having our annual banquet and the theme being a masquerade party. How creative is that?
Very nice.
Justin, anything? Okay. Matt, thank you very much. We'll get to work on my mask. All right, Rodney.
Good morning. So the information on this report seems a little dated, but so all of our lodgers tax funded projects are completed. The shades were installed some time ago at Kids Connection. The tennis courts were resurfaced. The Alto parking lot was completed, and the Gavilan fence was completed. We have 3 currently capital projects that are ongoing. They are all trail designs. The Cree Meadows trail design is actually completed. The plan is to bid out the project at the beginning of the new year sometime, and then construction to start in the spring and summer of 2021. That's the extension of Cree Meadows, or the Lynx Trail along Cree Meadows connecting to Meacham. The Moon Mountain trails are currently under design, and the rehabilitation of the Lynx Trail is currently under design. We ended our reservation system, at least our paid reservation system, in mid-October. We had a pretty substantial revenue from the season. the report states 200,000 from concession, but that included parking and the concession, as well as boat permits. We had established a 300 card limit, and that worked out very well. Again, we extended that through the middle of October because as we had expected the numbers to drop on Labor Day, which they continued through the month of October. We are currently building a beach to the south of the concession building. We're hoping to be completed with that by the end of December. The Grindstone master plan is currently underway. We hosted a virtual public meeting last week, Thursday, went really well. We had 41 participants, and we got feedback from the public on what they wanted. Most of them were wanting to improve the infrastructure that was there, such as the access, fishing access, improving the boat ramps, and a lot of feedback was positive about establishing some sort of a limit similar to the 300 card limit that we had established previously. Recreation and events during the last quarter. So we had continued our fish stocking program at Alto and Grindstone. It's much more limited at Alto, but we did stock that lake as well. We had a series of archery shoots. We had a total of 3 series. They were all hosted with the reservation system, and so people were required to make reservations in maximum of a group of 5. We have a lot of positive feedback on that series, and the last one, we were around 45 reservations out of the possible 55. We hosted a youth and adult disc golf tournament in Wingfield Park. That was also structured with a reservation system with a limit of 5 persons per each time slot. That was also well attended. We also hosted a drive-through haunted house event on Halloween on Friday and Saturday. Both of those nights were very well attended and very well received by the community. We're looking into possibly, continuing that in the future with a similar setup. We were working towards hosting some future events in a similar fashion with Christmas in the Park, working with the Chamber for the Festival of Light Parade and the annual Turkey Trot. So our Turkey Trot, we are going to an all virtual event on that. People can go out and run on their own. Typically we send or we hand out shirts with that event. We'll be mailing them out. I'm not quite certain of the status of the Christmas in the Park today. We'll visit with that, and hopefully the people follow the order and we'll be able to change, but again, that's up in the air. I'll stand for any questions on any of the items that I mentioned.
Yeah, just if you could put that rail car system that I sent you from TikTok around the links, I think that would be huge.
Oh yeah, that was really interesting.
Rodney's probably tired of me because I got on the TikTok wormhole and I send him videos all the time.
No, it's I wish the community would receive these ideas as well as open-minded as I am. But there's some great ideas, and I think we still have some good things planned in the future, and it would be nice to work some of those in.
And you said Turkey Trot is virtual now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get it updated on our end.
Thanks for all you do, Rodney.
Thanks for not asking for money, Rodney.
Wait, just wait.
Just wait. All right, next up, Special Events Committee with Jasmine.
Awesome. Good morning. So back in July, we created an event committee to kind of address some of the COVID changes and work on some future collaborations. And this consisted of Parks and Rec, Convention Center, and MCM Elegante, the tourism department, RMA, community development, and some of the Village Hall administration support. So what we did was basically we compiled a list of some of the venues across the community and kind of indicated what types of events would be preferred or suitable for those venues, kind of put together the description and amenities of each venue. We went through all of the sanctioned events that happen at the convention center. The idea was to possibly relocate some of them, but after a few of us met with the organizers of those individual events, we kind of realized that there's not really another location for them. So we started discussing setting criteria for all events, including the sanctioned ones. And ultimately, we just kind of concluded that our goal was to, again, enhance and improve all events that take place within our community and trying to create more resources for the event organizers while just trying to work collaboratively and ensure that especially some of the lodgers tax funds were being used efficiently. So we did draft a checklist for each event, and that is still under review, and then kind of looking at what resources we could provide, including somewhat of a marketing plan with ideas of what venues fit their event best. And the checklist also included some survey feedback for both the vendors and organizers of each event. So right now we're kind of looking at finalizing the checklist and reviewing what changes are needed, or if we need to revisit changing the ordinance in the future for 2021 events. Sorry, post 2021, so after next year. And that pretty much sums up what the event committee has been kind of working on in the last several months. So if there are questions, I'll stand for those.
Justin, good?
I'm good.
All right. Jasmine, thank you so much.
No problem.
Do we have?
David's not on.
Not on.
Honestly, the
There's
report,
not much going on.
there wasn't, I mean, as you guys know, there's nothing going on at the convention center. So there was really no revenue or anything to report. Other than their participation in what Jasmine just discussed was, you know, looking at events and how we can strategically move forward to optimize event space and event capacity. So that was basically the gist of his report.
Cool.
Kelly?
All righty, Kelly and Carrie, whoever.
Hello. I'll go first with some of the tourism stuff, and then Carrie can jump in on the municipality. So in the packet, you should have the digital report from Q1 of this year. Because the analytics are comparing it to Q4, which we were shut down then, and here we are again. Our numbers are showed that we're up pretty significantly in terms of impressions. We had close to 6 million impressions, over 270,000 engagements, and 43,000-ish clicks back to the website. So overall, we've had some good numbers for that first quarter. Again, that's comparing it to April, May, June. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we continue to have growth across all platforms, so that's good. One of the things you'll notice in the graphs throughout is July and August, there's a few little increases, and then we have a pretty big jump there in September. Some of that is just related to advertising, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So those first, after the summary page, it kind of just gives an overview of in terms of engagement, and then in impressions, same sort of thing. And then we've included just some examples. I know that not everyone's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter for that matter. So we've just included the top posts for each of those platforms based off total engagement. And one of the things that we are now including now is the YouTube video. So that's one that we haven't included in the past in terms of including the number of video views there. We had a call with New Mexico True just here in the last couple of weeks, and they've done a digital audit for us. So basically they looked at all of our social media channels. They provided some recommendations for each of them. In a lot of areas, we're doing a lot of really good stuff. They did have some feedback on how to continue to expand our footprint. YouTube was one of those, Pinterest was another. So those are some areas that we're going to continue to work on here in the next couple of months. And we've started to already make a bunch of the changes that they had recommended from that audit. So that was a program that we were able to participate in since New Mexico True isn't doing co-op dollars for events like they have in the past. That was another offering that they had given us that we were able to apply for and get. And Justin will probably talk more about that in a little bit. In terms of social advertising for the first quarter, our overall spend was up pretty significantly from the quarters before because of the shutdown. But if you'll see kind of where our reach is, in July, we're keeping that baseline of brand awareness. And then as things started to open up a little bit more in August and in September, you can see those numbers go up from there. One of the things that we've talked about since the last meeting was one of the reasons why we're going to focus on digital is the ability to quickly turn it on and off. And so when the governor had changed it to where we could have, like there were certain states that could come, we shifted and focused more on Colorado because that was one of the states for a period of time that were able to come without a quarantine. So we focused some ad dollars there. And then when it was, if you had a negative test, anyone could come. So we ramped up more then. And then as restrictions have been put back in place, we've scaled back quite a bit. One of the videos, and Justin, I don't know if you had planned to play any of these or if we just want to send the link out. I've included the link in my report. But this was a mask video that we had, that Justin had worked on back in, I think it was back in August, along with some of the photo assets of people wearing masks. And so we ran this, as you can see, kind of in those main states that we usually get people from: New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Colorado. And we've run this campaign a couple different times throughout the fall, basically targeting people who are already familiar with us. So if they are coming to our community because they already are familiar with us, that please wear a mask. So that was one of the ads that we ran this fall. Also, when things kind of started to open up a little bit, like I said, we did push for fall getaway. And this was just directing people to our lodging page. It's the same sort of thing, reaching out to some of those friendly surrounding audiences and states. And then we did a push based off the feedback from the state of really encouraging us to do, staycations or focusing on other New Mexicans. And so we did, using some of those assets that we created back in August of folks wearing masks and being out in the outdoors, we did the staycation ads for locally for New Mexicans and New Mexican families. And then throughout the entire campaign, or fall really, we've been continue to push the Rio So Safe message. This is something that we run both locally, targeting locals, but then also people who are visiting who are within our geo-targeted area of Ruidoso. So that's something that we can continue to do. Justin had mentioned the first responder ads, and I don't know if you guys have seen those or not, but we have a new video, and that's all we're running currently. Just encouraging people to continue to wear masks, and it just has a different flair to it than what we have been pushing. So hopefully people are seeing that. And like you said, Alden's working on some new ads with using the photo assets that we have of the first responders. So those are going to be going out soon. And then I know that Justin has a lot of the website stuff in his report, so I won't touch on that, but that's the last thing that's included in my report. Does anyone have any questions on this stuff before Carrie jumps into her section?
Thank you, Kelly.
Welcome.
Okay, on the municipal side of things, when you look at our stats for the social platforms for the first quarter, ours actually went down pretty significantly, but that I think it can be contributed to when you compare it to, we were in the midst of all of the big COVID stuff going on, and so we were seeing some, the biggest traffic we've seen across our platforms in the previous quarters. So nothing too surprising there, because in the last quarter, we were kind of on a little bit of a slower move, and there wasn't a lot going on. Our numbers were not where they're at now. So I suspect if you look at last quarter compared to now, it's going to be quite a bit different. You can see we had some spikes in there where, we would put different things out. Our top posts were all still related to COVID post. The different health orders being updated, our increase in numbers, and then also the Midtown redesign that was driving a lot of conversation across the different platforms. Our website traffic year to year was up across the board as far as unique visitors, visits, and page views. And again, I think just what's going on in the world is what was the driver behind that. But we were up significantly, 131% in visitors, 170% in visits, and 115% in page views. So, and then the pages that were popular indicate that, because it was our homepage, the COVID page, the Village of Ruidoso COVID information, and the state extending the emergency status. Those were the most popular pages. So again, that ties to what the content was that was being visited the most. We did develop a couple of new micro portals for the small business grant program, just to make it easy for the merchants to get all of that information in one place. We also did a micro portal to help the village get word out about the Midtown Reimagined, and get that survey out and the information. And again, with the links and grindstone surveys. So those were some of the micro portals that we connected to the village website to get information out to the community. Lots of press releases and PSAs, obviously, long list there. And then on the creative side, that was attached to your report, just more
of our typical stuff that we usually put out, but you will see in there that we've included a lot of the mass campaign that we did in August. And so that those assets are in there, and you can see how we use those. And, you know, we didn't do a whole lot of advertising in the quarter, so the creative report on that is pretty short. So I will stand for any questions that anybody has with regards to the municipal side and the creative.
Apparently not. Carrie, Kelly, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, Justin.
All right, I'll hop in really quick, try to make this quick. I just included some data on our overall website visitation for the quarter. If you compare it year over year, we're down obviously compared to last year, but it wasn't a significant decrease. We did have quite a few new visitors this year. I think that is in part due to the large amount that we're spending on social media, attracting new people to our platform and introducing them to our community. You're looking at our top cities, you know, definitely have kind of our usual suspects. The only one that I still can't quite figure out and put my finger on is that Las Vegas traffic. That's peaked into the top 10 and then continued to grow. And that's Las Vegas, Nevada. I think in part it has to do with our advertising in Arizona, because you do get a lot of Nevadans that are traveling south down into Arizona frequently. So I think that there's some possibility there, but I still haven't been able to directly figure out how in the heck we're getting that many visitors out of Las Vegas to our website. Interestingly, our demos on the website have shifted a little bit more male leaning. So we do have about 54% male leaning to 45% female leaning demos on the website. Age range pretty well split out, especially within our money range, that 25 to 50 to 64. Really good quality money range right there for us, and we've spread it out fairly evenly over that. If you look, there's a breakdown of kind of how our search is being, how people are being delivered to us. Kelly's done a great job on the social media, sitting at number 2 reasons why people are visiting our website, with organic search being number 1, direct search being number 3. The other thing on here is our Visit Widget platform, which is our kiosk and our online visit widget. A lot of this is driven by mobile. The majority of this driven by mobile downloads. This continues to be extremely strong. Even comparing year over year, you see an increase in total users. And then this particular one is a comparison from the previous quarter, but what we are seeing is when people are in our community, they're utilizing this to plan their trips. So I think it continues to prove it's a good, strong investment, and definitely worthwhile endeavor. I mean, July through September, we had 90,000 page views, 22,000 sessions, just under 20,000 total users. So it's been very good. The next thing on here is just our breakdown. I won't go into specifics, but you can kind of see a breakdown of what some of our expenditures looked like through July, August, and September. I will say this is kind of being more forward, and this will be on the next report more thoroughly, but we did start getting into TV in October. And then as soon as some stuff hit, we adjusted our messaging to the first responder video in markets where we thought it would be necessary, like Lubbock, where we really are going to continue to see people coming from. And in other markets that we were looking to possibly expand into, we put those on indefinite hold. We're going to be running that first responder commercial it is currently running in New Mexico, in Lubbock, and down in Tucson, which is just the wear a mask first responder commercial. Prior this summer, we entered into agreement with Matador. Matador is responsible in the past for getting us on 2 different lists. It listed us as, top 20. I think one of them was top 20 hidden secrets and in the country, and top 10 destination resort towns in the country. So they're a really good partnership that we've leveraged in the past. They've been good to us. Well, they reached out to us. They're working with Airstream. And they've got this really lovely family out of Bozeman, Montana, that is going to be dragging this Airstream down here. They're actually getting here today. They're going to be creating some content for us, it's all going to be masked content. There will be some evergreen content we'll be able to utilize after we don't have to wear masks any longer. But this will really, the idea is digital nomad and remote learning is really the focus of this entire campaign with these guys. I think we're going to get some really quality content out of it. They'll be staying at Grindstone Lake for a couple of days, and then they'll be going over to Midtown Mountain Campgrounds to finish their stay. The other portion of this was kind of an add-on that was fortunate for us. GMC is delivering Yukon Denali out here, and they brought in another Airstream for GMC, Matador, and Airstream all to shoot a commercial together here in our community, and we'll get I think we're going to get a lot of impressions and love out of that, and that's just completely additional value that we didn't have to pay for. It just worked out because we were able to work with Samantha to get them permitted to film it at Grindstone. And then I also worked with Ski Apache to have them be able to go up there and film up at Ski Apache and out on the Mescalero Apache Reservation. So I think our area is going to see a lot of increase in publicity through the partnership with GMC, Airstream, and Matador. They're also going to be providing, in addition to some digital content that's going to be created, they're going to be providing us just their raw photos and their raw video content for us to use down the road. So whether we're creating billboards or something like that, we're going to have some really high quality images and video assets to utilize. We were supposed to have New Mexico TRU out here this week, the New Mexico Tourism Department out here this week, and because of COVID, they put that program on hold. So I'll update the next time they decide to come out, but they were going to be shooting some 360 video of Grindstone Lake, which would be awesome to add into Google. They're going to be doing some more 360 photographs and video of Midtown to help update some of those assets, as well as Two Rivers Trail, Fort Stanton, and Lincoln. But again, because Fort Stanton and Lincoln are completely shut down again, they're opting not to do that. We also had a photo shoot scheduled with them for this week, and again, they've just decided that they're gonna put all that on freeze for right now. That was a part of the co-op program. Since they're not actually doing direct funding to municipalities or any sort of advertising support, they were providing this. They have written an article for us. I helped contact them with Frank Potter, who gave them a lot of historical information, and that has been produced, and so they'll be putting that up on their websites and in their blogs and stuff like that. Trying to think. Go back over to the agenda. That's all I have for my report. I guess we can move over. If no one has any questions, we can move on to the next section. Nothing. Okay.
No. Crickets. All right, thanks, Justin. All right, let's see. Moving on to the, I guess this will be as well, reimbursement to lodgers tax for. No, this is Samantha.
Well, I can hop in on this real quick. The host compliance auditing software did not work to the expectations that we had originally had for that software. So what Samantha ended up getting a refund from host compliance. And we'd already granted out of lodgers tax, if you remember in the previous meeting, the $15,000. She got the refund, so that'll actually be going back to the lodgers tax budget. That refund for 15. Moving into the next item, Buxton Analytics. Alan said on a call, Carrie, Kelly, I mean, I think quite a few, Becky, I believe, was on the call. Buxton Analytics is an amazing platform that's going to give the village a lot of opportunity to leverage economic leakage, also some marketing support, and really help us dial in our data analytics to help us figure out, one, who can we attract to our community for economic investment, and then additionally, there's some opportunities for marketing to help us dial in and really identify who our target audiences are, who's coming here, where they're coming from, how long they're staying, real deep demographics. It is reasonably expensive on an annual basis, but the majority of it will be coming out of the village's main budget. I forget the name of it, but they are seeking a $5,000 investment out of lodger's tax budget. Again, we as did someone say something? We as you know, for our organization, for lodger's tax, it's going to have really good analytics for us to help create a better customer profile. We've been discussing, you know, going out and getting some of this data individually anyway, and it would have been a lot more expensive. It would cost us individually about $30,000 to have surveys and stuff done to get this data. So with Buxton, we can actually in real time hop on and run reports. We can also run reports on competitive communities. So we can look at Red River, Taos, Angel Fire. We can look at these other communities, Flagstaff, and say, where are their customers coming from? Can we steal some of that market share from them, and really get quality sound data? So it's going to be a fraction of the cost of what we thought it would cost us in the past, and it's going to help the community overall, especially with the economic development side of things. So that's a $5,000 award, but given the fact that we had the $15,000 from host compliance being returned, I don't foresee that being an issue, but it is up for vote for the board.
Justin, if you would please take a vote on your first item so they can accept the.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, I know you covered two items at the same time, but if you can go back and then take a vote on the approval of the reimbursement for the lodger's tax.
Okay, so we will need a motion for the reimbursement to lodger's tax for host compliance.
So moved.
All righty, do we have a second?
Anna second.
All righty. Oh, do we need, it's probably best to do a roll call on Zoom, right?
We don't need one.
Don't need one, okay.
Do y'all normally do roll calls?
No.
If you just say all ayes and all
Okay.
nays and then.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. That one carries. Yeah.
No opposed, all carried.
I don't think I've ever had a dissenting vote. That was pretty boring. All right, do you want to move on to the?
If we just want to call that second one
out. Yeah, I'll go ahead. We'll need a motion for the Buxton Analytics. I will say on that call, just to follow up on Justin, that was an amazing program. It's something that I think once we get it, it'll make a lot more sense to each of you. If we were probably in the chambers today, we could go into a little bit more discussion, but I will say I was greatly amazed by what was going on with it. So do we have a motion to approve $5,000 for Buxton Analytics?
I motion to approve the Boston Analytics. Anna.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay.
Lori, this is Lori.
All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So
Aye.
good.
Anyone opposed?
Anyone opposed? Sorry. No.
Rodney, you're up.
Good morning again. So, I believe you all have a copy of the proposal I have from Groundwork Studios to perform a master plan of Wingfield Park. And so what I was hoping to do is take advantage of this time that we had no events going on.
Rodney, 1 second. That report is under, for any of you looking for it, it's under the quarterly reports for Rodney's report earlier. So if you just click on that Parks and Rec link, it'll pull it up. Okay, Rodney, sorry.
So, so the scope of the master plan is to build off the conceptual plan that was completed during the 2019 comprehensive plan. So it would evaluate the not only the Wingfield property but adjacent properties to try to develop an outdoor event space. It would look at evaluating of improving parking or incorporating additional parking, potentially new trails and walkways connecting to Midtown, the River Trail, and looking at storm water management throughout the property. One of the another large consideration would be closing of Center Street from Wingfield to Spring Road. Again, I would like the lodgers tax to consider this so we could take advantage of the downtime where we're not having events in that park. So in anticipation of requesting this funding, I did get a list of all the adjacent property owners around Wingfield. I walked around the neighborhood. I spoke with not quite half, about a third of the people that were home, kind of informed them of my plans to request funding and just taking some initial concerns from them. A majority of the people that I spoke with thought it was a good idea, but they did have concerns about the closing of Center Street and how it would impact the traffic in their neighborhood. They weren't necessarily against it, they just wanted more information on how it would impact them. And so that would be another important aspect of the master planning process, would be evaluating the changes to traffic in those neighborhoods. I believe whenever we received the initial estimate from Groundwork Studios, the time frame would take approximately around 9 months to complete the plan. The total is $45,000 and includes $5,000 of reimbursables. And it's actually, it would be $45,000 plus GRT. And so I've made that mistake before. It would be additional on top of that. I do not have that calculated. But I'll stand for any questions regarding that process if y'all have any.
It looks like it'll be just under 49,000, I think, Rodney, if I calculated that correctly.
Okay.
So is this to create a plan? So this money would create the plan, not the actual infrastructure at the park?
That is correct.
Once this plan was conducted, and this was completed, what would the timeline look like for actual completion of project, and what would the additional, I guess the plan would tell us how much additional it would cost?
Yes, at the end, the deliverables would be that finalized conceptual plan of the park with cost estimates to perform all of those improvements. And it's so hard to guess, but I would imagine that coming out of that plan, some of those changes could occur during this process, like the removal of the annex building, the courthouse, potentially the village could perform the work of removing the road if ultimately that was decided. But yes, we'll have some cost estimates and more importantly, numbers to request funding based upon that plan.
I think that's Judy. We need to see what she thinks. She unmuted herself. She shows up.
Judy, we saw you unmuted yourself. You knew you were up.
Yep, so I'm like, where are you gonna cut 50,000 out of the budget to fund it?
Consider what we're going into right now.
Because right now you're down on revenue, so there's no way to increase the revenues to include it.
Right.
And we've already spent a lot from cash, so, I mean, in order to put this in the budget, you're gonna have to cut something out.
Is this based off updated budget? Have we updated our budget? I mean, we had a catastrophe budget going into this year. Has that been updated or not?
No, because the revenues are still down, so we didn't increase any of the budget.
Revenue projections would be up over the updated budget, correct though? They're down over last year, but they're up over what we estimated from our estimated budget that we passed earlier this year due to COVID.
Right, but with everything happening the way it is, I'm not comfortable in increasing the revenues at this point. Considering the fact that we used so much from cash at the beginning of the year to balance the budget.
I think since our next quarterly meeting is in January, considering we're going into a potentially very, very dark period for the next 2 or 3 months, I would think by the time January rolls around, we'll have, well, I'm not even going to plan over a week from now, but I would think we'd have a little bit better idea. And considering right now we're down and about to go into a potentially, very sparse revenue period, I think we should table this at least until January.
We're gonna have to have a motion either way.
Yeah, but we'll need a motion. I'm sorry. Yeah. Make a motion to table? To postpone.
Till your next
Okay.
meeting.
So we can make a motion to postpone this issue until our next meeting.
I think you can make the motion now.
Okay. I'll make the motion to postpone this until the next meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right.
Rodney, maybe you, Judy, and I can hop on a call between here and the next meeting and just look to see, because I know we spent some money from the special event budget on tents. I don't know if there's any money. I know there's not very much left in there, but we can take a look and see if there's any potential. But we at least have a game plan going into the next meeting to see if there's reality, and we'll have a lot better picture, when we do have our next meeting, what things are looking like.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate your all's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. All right, next up, Justin.
So I wanted to purchase a new webcam for Grindstone Lake. The webcam that we had taken from Midtown really just, it's time to retire it. It wasn't working very well. I tried to get it hooked up there at Grindstone and it wasn't working well. We have the infrastructure in place. The new webcam, total cost, everything's about $2,500. Given what we just said, it's not a necessity for us to get that. So
But here's my question. We just got 15,000 reimbursed. I mean, I understand Rodney's request because it would be over what was reimbursed. We spent 5 of that. So in my mind, we have 10,000 unallocated. It should still be in the budget. So this request can be approved. But maybe I'm wrong. Judy?
So, on the host compliance, we did, receive in writing that we're gonna short it by 15,000, but I wanna double check the books real quick. Make sure we have the original Sam, did we have the correct budget amount originally in the budget?
Let's double check that because I believe the refund is coming at 13,000. Well, not the refund, but the way we handled it is we're paying the yearly renewal of host compliance, and we're shorting them the 13,000 because they've changed companies. They were bought out by Granicus, and so their customer service has been down, and we haven't been able to receive the refund for about 4 months now.
I mean, given that, if we haven't received the reimbursement yet, I'm comfortable holding until January. It's just an additional webcam. We have the infrastructure in place. So when we have the funds available, we can get it. But if we don't know if we even got that refund yet, I don't think again, this isn't a necessity. It's just an additional, additional webcam for people to check out the village if they can't be here, but it's not a
Especially during the
necessity.
summer, I would think too, right? When there's a lot of activity. So do you want me to make a motion to table this?
I think
one
let's make a
okay.
motion to postpone.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to postpone this issue until January as well.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Done. All right, thank you guys very much. We'll see what the landscape looks like in January. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're not doing the photo shoot tomorrow?
Bye, guys.
No, otherwise,
That was